Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Avataravarishthaya Ramakrishna te namaha. Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of Bhagavad Gita. We are now in the second chapter. We have completed studying the 17th verse of the second chapter. Now we are going to study the 18th verse. Before entering into the subject, we shall chant 2 verses from the meditation on Bhagavad Gita. All of us can chant together. Om Parthaya Pratibodhita Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. We shall now chant the 18th verse in the second chapter. Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna, Antavanta ime deha nityasyoktaha sharirinaha anashino aprameyasya. That is to be divided as anashinaha aprameyasya tasmat yudhyasva bharata. Now we shall learn to chant the 18th verse. I will first repeat it. Please repeat that verse after. Antavanta ime deha Antavanta ime deha Nityasyoktaha sharirinaha Nityasyokta sharirinaha Anashino प्रमेयस्य अनाशिनो अप्रमेयस्य तस्मात् युध्यस्व भारत तस्मात् युध्यस्व भारत. The end portion of this verse you can notice tasmat, that's why yudhyasva. Yudhyasva is to Arjuna because he is the kshatriya or the warrior. As a kshatriya means kshatat trayate iti kshatriyaha, one who protects this world from unrighteousness. Kshata means broken. Akshata means unbroken. So, unbroken thing is righteousness, satya, truthfulness, truth. Broken is untruthfulness or unrighteousness. Trayate, one who protects by his physical prowess or his mental or his spiritual prowess, one who fights using his energy to protect righteousness is called kshatriya. Now, by birth and also by the dint of his character, Arjuna was a warrior. He practiced his whole life doing that. So that is his bounden duty, to protect the good and punish the bad. Now he is recoiling on the battlefield because of the attachment that he may kill his own kith and kin. Whether he may be your own son who may be on the battlefield on the unrighteous side. He may be committing some worst of the sins. So in spite of that, if you are a kshatriya, you have to punish that person. No mercy there, because you are kshatriya to perform your duty. That's why you will see again and again, Krishna never advocates that you should go to the forest and you should sit quiet there meditating. No, he's telling you to realize God by performing your duties. So you can see here, nowhere in our religion, nowhere in Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma or Bhagavad Gita, they tell that you should just simply go to the Himalayas or mountains or caves or somewhere and sit and meditate and then realize God. No, that is only for some time. But regularly, you have to do your duties as an offering to God. You have to perform your duties. So that's why in Bhagavad Gita you can see Lord Krishna is goading Arjuna now and again. Many times you can find this. What is that? Tasmat yudhyasva. And some other place he tells, Ma manusmara yudhyacha. Think of me, offer everything to me, and then do your duty. So, through Arjuna, now he is telling what fight. Though you may have that warrior blood in you, you may be a kshatriya by nature, you may be a fighter. But what is the fight which we have to do? As Swami Vivekananda tells, this whole life of ours is a constant fight. When somebody asks Swami Vivekananda what is the definition of this life, Swami Vivekananda explained, telling that this life is a constant fight with nature, internal and external. See, the external nature, tornado came, blown away the roofs. Are you sitting quiet there crying? No, you fight against the nature. Go to the shelter, take your family to your relatives' house again, come, build back, fight against the nature, protect yourself. See, every second you are fighting nature external. Not only that, we have to fight the nature internal too, within our body. So many adverse situation arise. So we have to fight. So life is a constant fight. So we are all warriors in this life. So now Lord Krishna is telling, perform your duty well. Perform. Tasmad yudhyasva. Now for that we should get some inspiration. Now in this verse, Krishna is telling, Antavanta ime deha. What is the meaning of that? Anta means end. Antavanta means, say now, Vanta means one who possesses that character is called Vanta. Dhanavanta means possessor of wealth or money is Dhanavanta. Antavanta means one who possesses the end or death, or what you call that, temporary nature. That's called Antavanta. Ime Deha. Who is that? Ime Deha, these bodies. But whom does this belong to? Nityasyokta, one who is eternal. His soul, your true nature, you are the masters, so you are eternal. But your body is not eternal. It is temporary. That is what Lord Krishna is separating you, your true nature, the Purusha or the Atman within you, from the external nature, that is the body, mind, ego, complex. So he's separating you. He's telling that you are that eternal person, the Atman, the essence of God, but your body, your mind, these are temporary. Uktaha, it is said, antavantaha, perishable, ime dehaha. Ime deha are these bodies. Nityasya. So now somebody should be there if these bodies, he is telling plural. He's using the term plural here. These bodies. So like you will tell, oh, these animals, these things, these radios, these phones. So when they tell, then that should belong to somebody, isn't it? That's why Nityasya, which belong to the eternal, who is within. Anashinaha. And what is his nature? Anashinaha, imperishable. And what is the other nature? Aprameyasya. That is, what is aprameya? Prameya means objectifiable. See now, so many things are there. You can measure it. You can objectify it. You can know it. That is called prameya. Aprameya is another name for Vishnu or God, or any God can be called by that name. Aprameya means one who cannot be comprehended, one who cannot be limited, one who cannot be measured, because he is so all-powerful and he is formless. So because of that, he is aprameya, imperishable, then unobjectifiable, sharirinaha. So he is the self, tasmat, knowing well that you are the self, and the people whom you are fighting, whomever you think that you are attached to, your grandsire, Dronacharya, your relatives, all other people. On the other side, it is all your relatives and friends. So don't think that they are the bodies. One or the other day, they have to die. As I've told you in the last class, I gave you the beautiful saying of Swami Vivekananda. What is that? The first saying was, it is better to wear out than rust out. A machinery or a thing or a person. Suppose you keep it in your house carefully, or in the industry, the machinery, without working it, spick and span, polished. You don't make it work, it looks so new, brand new. Then also it will get rusted. Whatever you do, it will get rusted. But instead, you start working, produce something, so many good things to the society. Make it do the work, whether it is body, whether it is person, whether it is people, whether it is yourself. So if you do the hard work, smart work, then too your body will be, because you are doing the hard work, it is going to wear out. So anyway, it is going to get destroyed because it is temporary. Is it not better to wear out than rust out? Simply idling your time, sleeping, protecting yourself, not going out, not doing the work, not being useful to the society, just idling, cozy life, a life of pleasure, you just live only for yourself, selfish ends, then too you will die. You will get destroyed. If you work, do the work, do your duty, help others, help yourself, live yourself a higher life, then too this body will vanish. Which is better? That's why Vivekananda told, it is better to wear out than rust out. One more letter he had written to the Raja of Mysore. What is that? Then the Raja of Mysore to him, Swami Vivekananda had written this letter. In that he mentions the vanities of the world are temporary. The vanities of the world which we are now running after are temporary. Then he makes a wonderful, beautiful statement. They alone live who live for others. They alone live who live for others. You think that you are living. We all think that we are living. But it is nothing more than a life of vegetable. The vegetable also lives on the shelf in the plant, or it lives on the provision shop or some other vegetable shop. So that is only vegetating life. It's a life of the vegetable. We too are living like that. Why? We are living only for ourselves, our own pleasures, selfish life. So that is death, contracting life. That is death. So that's why Swami Vivekananda is telling, they alone live who live for others. Rest, even though they look alive, they are more dead. What a wonderful statement. See? They alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. Can you see? See, those people now, we are even now thinking of Lord Krishna, Arjuna, we are thinking of Buddha, we are thinking of Jesus Christ, we are thinking of all great personalities who lived for others. We don't even think of our own grandparents. I've given you the example. In a classroom, the new lecturer wanted to find out the IQ or the EQ of the students, the intelligence. So he asked the question, children, how many of you know your parents' name? All of them raised their hands. How many of you know your grandparents' name? Half the hands went down. How many of you know your great-grandparents' name? Nobody. I think here also nobody might know your great-grandparents' name. Here too you may not be knowing. Start asking yourself, you will not be knowing. Now, after that, he asked them, what a shame. They are the people who gave you life. This body is given by them. The property and so many other things were given by them to you, and you don't want to remember them. Then he asked the question to them. Buddha, everybody raised their hand. How many of you know some other great personality? Raised their hands. All the great personalities, are they your grandparents? Are they your great-grandparents? Have they given you something? Have they given you life? Have they given you money, property? No. Then how do you remember them? See, now you can understand they alone live. Though their body is gone, but still you remember they are living in your heart, they are living everywhere. That is life. This vegetating life. The tortoise lives for 300 years. What is the use of living 300 years? Not useful to the society, not useful to the country, not useful to the people. What is that life? Swami Vivekananda is asking. That is death. The banyan tree lives for 500 years. What is the use? But the lion may live for 15 years. Live like a lion, than like a tortoise. Live like a lion. Live the life of a lion. That's what here is telling. Yes, yes, we have to die one day. Should we die like insects, like microbes? The mosquitoes crushed under the hands of somebody? Should we die like that? On the streets, in the gutter, in the sewage? Should we die like that? No. We have to die. Let us die for a higher cause. Realize something high. That is what now Lord Krishna is telling. Tasmat yudhyasva bharata. Arjuna, perform your duty. Realize something higher. Anyhow, this body has to perish. What a wonderful message. Therefore, Arjuna, so here Krishna repeats the main idea given before. Nityasya sharirinaha anashinaha. We have to now understand our true nature again and again. I will come to a story, a beautiful story told by Swami Vivekananda, but it is also in our scriptures. But before that, let me take you through some of the meaning of the words given here by Lord Krishna. What is the first thing? Anashinaha. A thing which never changes. So what is that thing which never changes? Yourself, your true self. Anashinaha. It never changes, never decays. This body will decay. Whatever you do, don't brush your teeth in the morning. Come and talk to others. They will run away from you. There was one milkman. It's a humor. Don't take it seriously. It's a humor just to make you understand the temporariness and the dirty thing of our body, which we are so enamored of this body. So the milkman in India, they supply the milk to every house going early in the morning. Very early in the morning, they have to go maybe 5 o'clock or 4:30, 4 o'clock. So they have to supply milk to many people. Now, he never decided to marry. Then one of the ladies who came out to get the milk early in the morning, they just from the bed, they come. So coming and asked, taking the milk, she wanted to just ask some questions. She told, why are you not at all married? You are a young man. Why are you not getting married? Told, every day when I come to give the milk, I see all the people coming without makeup. Seeing them in condition, I have decided not to marry. No makeup, no combing of the hair, and nothing, no brushing of the teeth. If you see them, so that is our body, which we are so enamored of. We are so attached to. If you don't take bath, gone. If you don't dress up, gone. That is our body, and we are so enamored, attached to that. Now, but your true self, the Atman, that the Lord who resides in you, that is your true nature, that never changes, never decays, never gets extinct in the least by any cause, under any circumstances. That thing is called Anashi. That you are. The soul, the spirit is not exposed to destruction or change. So it is indestructible or imperishable. That is Anashi. So many people keep their names as Avinashi, Anashi. That's the meaning. It's not only name, that is your true nature. Then Aprameyasya, the soul of yours, who is infinite. The soul is beyond the domain of senses. Because it's infinite, it cannot be comprehended by senses, which can only, it is made to comprehend limited things. Very small things you can comprehend through your mind. What can you comprehend? Infinity. You cannot comprehend even the ocean. You cannot comprehend this whole earth. What can you comprehend that is which is beyond the galaxies, which is beyond all this universe? What can you comprehend that? Lord, but that you are. You should know that. That is your true nature. Aprameyasya, the soul is beyond the domain of the senses, speech and mind. The speech cannot comprehend it. You cannot talk about it, tell completely about it. Only at the most you may hint. Then it is beyond our mind, so it is indefinable. It can be experienced. Yeah, it can be experienced. How? Only by having faith in the words of the scriptures. What is scriptures? You think that some books written by somebody is scriptures? No. Earlier, people like you and me, they wanted to realize their true nature. They did the hard work. They did all these what Lord Krishna told and realized the true nature. After realizing, they have written down, given their experiences. That is scripture. That is Aptavakya. Just like now, the scientists, the other people have given you so many knowledge of mathematics, medical science, chemistry or commerce or whatever, whichever knowledge. They have undergone that, seen that, everything, tested in the lab. Then they have given you the knowledge. So you have faith in them. You believe. When you go to the, whether in the metric or in the primary school, when the algebra is taught, suppose somebody tells what is 4 into 7, then will you have doubt about it? You just believe. Why? You have faith. Why don't you question them? Why is 1 plus 1 2? Or 100 plus 150 is 250? Have you questioned anybody, your teacher or anybody? Have you any time questioned why this is like that? Never. Because you have faith. Likewise, here, the great souls who have realized the truth, they have given out the truth that is written in the written form, that they are called scriptures. So if you have the faith in those words of the great souls who have already realized, then you can experience the truth. That is the main thing which you have to know. The scriptures, the saints. Do not compel anyone to have faith in them. One is free to have such faith or not have it. In case one reposes faith in them, the reality is the object of his faith. Otherwise, it is not the object of his faith. So now that is aprameyasya. It cannot be comprehended, but only it can be comprehended by the scriptures, by the saints, by the great people. Comprehended means you can become that, you can realize that. Just like I gave the example, you cannot see your own eyes. You can only see the reflection. You cannot see yourself. It can only be seen in a camera. That is also the reverse. It's not the proper thing. So now, then how to know ourselves? You can become that. You can become that. That's all. So that is, you can realize, you can become, you are that already. So that is what is wanted. Now, another word is used by Lord Krishna, nityasya. The soul does not undergo any change. It never ceases to be. It exists all the time. Antavanta ime deha uktaha shariranaha. These bodies of the imperishable, indefinable and eternal soul are spoken of as perishable. Though your true nature is that you are the owner, you are the master, but your body, the instrument which you have, is perishable. I will just give you some example to show you that how our body is so perishable, it is so temporary. I'll just give an example. The gross body is factually made from the soil or the mud. How? How can you tell that it is made out of mud? It is mud that is converted into vegetables or crops or whatever, fruits, grains, lentils and grass. Cows graze the grass and produce milk. We humans consume these edibles and they transform into our body. So it is not an exaggeration to say that this body is created from the mud or the soil. And at the time when this body is destroyed, death, when the soul departs, the body can have one of the three ends. What is that? In Hindi it is told as krimi, bid or bhasma. What is that meaning? Either when the body is dead, it is burnt, in which case it is converted into one fistful of ash. And it is put to mud, it becomes mud, it goes back to its own source where it came from. That's why in Sanskrit or Hindi it is called Parthiva Sharira. What is Parthiva? It comes from Prithvi. What is Prithvi? This earth, the soil. So it has come from the soil. That's why the body, when it is dead, it is called Parthiva Sharira. So now it becomes mud, or it is, some people bury it. What happens if it is buried? In which case the microbes, the insects eat that body and transforms into excreta and finally go to mud only. What is the body converted into? Again it goes to the soil, mud. Else it is thrown into the river or the ocean, in which case the sea creatures make it their fodder and excrete as waste, which ultimately merges with the mud of the seabed. So whatever way you see, finally you're going back to your source. It is so temporary, it has come from mud, it will go back to the mud. In this manner, mud, an amazing cycle in the world, it gets transformed into edibles. Bodies are made from these edibles and the body is written back into the mud of the earth. The Bible says, from dust thou art and unto dust thou shalt return. Genesis 3:19, verse 22. This phrase refers to our material body. But don't be afraid. Lord Krishna tells your true nature, that is our Atman, your real nature, within this material body. He is an eternal, imperishable entity which is not made out of mud. That is the divine soul, the real self. What a saving factor. How happy we can be hearing that coming out from that great soul, Paramatman, Lord Krishna. Now, I'll tell you a story. Swami Vivekananda tells this story. It is also in our scriptures. What is that? The demons, they called asuras or rakshasas, and gods. Gods means not big letter God, small letter God. That is the Indra, Chandra, Vayu, Varuna, all these people, demigods. Both of them went to the creator, Brahma. So they wanted to know who they were. So now they asked Brahma the question, who are we? So now what did Brahma do? Gods and demons went to learn about the self, about themselves from the great creator Brahma. They studied with him for a long time. At last, Brahma told them, you yourself are the being you are seeking. Now both of them thought that their bodies were the self. Both the demons and the gods, they went back to their people quite satisfied and said, we have learnt from the creator Brahma everything, that eat, drink and be merry. We are the self. There is nothing beyond this body. They thought that they were the body. The nature of the demon was ignorance, clouded, so he never inquired any further, but was perfectly contented with the idea he was God, that by the self was meant the body. But the devas, the gods, small letter gods, had a purer nature. He had first committed the same mistake of thinking. When Brahma told that you are that, he thought this body, I am the Brahman or Atman or the Paramatman. So he kept it strong and healthy and well dressed and gave all sorts of enjoyment. But in few days, he found out that that could not be the meaning of the sage or Brahma, their master. There must be something higher. So he came back to Lord Brahma, the creator, and told, O Lord, did you teach me that this body was the self? If so, I see all die, they decay. The self cannot die. Now Brahma told, find out yourself. Find it out. Thou art that, you are that. Find it out yourself. Then this Indra, the gods, they thought that the vital forces, the prana in our body, which work the body. So maybe Brahma meant that. He went back and he concentrated on that, thought about it, meditated upon that. But after a time, he found that if he ate food, these vital forces remained strong. But if he starved, the body became weak. Then Indra went back to Brahma and said, O Lord, did you mean the vital forces prana is the self? Again Brahma told, find out for yourself. Thou art that, you are that. Now God, Indra, returned back home once more, thinking that it was the mind perhaps. That was the self. But in a short while, he thought, while meditating, he thought that the thoughts were so various, so many thoughts in my mind. Now good thought, now again bad thought. The mind was too changeable to be the self. He went back to Brahma and said, O Lord, I do not think the mind is the self. Did you mean that? No, replied Brahma. Thou art that, you are that. Find out for yourself. Then Indra went back and at last found in meditation that He was the self beyond all thought, one without birth or death, whom the sword cannot pierce, or the fire cannot burn, whom the air cannot dry, or the water melt, the beginningless and endless, the immovable, the intangible, the omniscient, the omnipotent being, that it was neither the body nor the mind, but beyond them all. So now Indra was satisfied. But the poor demon did not get the truth owing to his fondness of the body. Now decide who you are. Whether we want to become the demon. Who are the demons? Do you think demons means they have some, carnivorous tooth, and they have some horns, and they are looking very ugly or fierce? No. We are demons if we think that we are just the body and we are satisfied with the pleasures of the body. We have both demoniacal quality and we have the divine quality too. We are demons, are gods. We can become demoniacal, we can become gods. So it depends upon what you think about yourself. So change the fact, the attitude, that what you think about yourself, and you will see so much of change coming within you, and you will know who you are. That is now known to you. Okay, but how to do this? How can we attain this? Yes, we will take the help of Swami Vivekananda himself. Okay, what does Swami Vivekananda tells? He tells the science of Raj Yoga. You know, that is Patanjali's Raj Yoga. Even before Patanjali, that Raj Yoga existed in our Sanatana Dharma in India. So why is it called Raj Yoga? Raja means king or the emperor. It is the highway or the freeway. You need not have any faith. It is so scientific, it's so logical. Swami Vivekananda uses the term as psychology for Raj Yoga. Now, the science of Raj Yoga, in the first place, proposes to give us such a means of observing the internal states. The instrument is the mind itself. Outside world, the scientists take the instrument like the microscope or the telescope or electronic microscope or some other instrument to find out the truth of the outer world. But what about the internal world? Here, the instrument is the mind itself. And what is that we have to do now? The power of attention, when properly guided and directed towards the internal world, will analyze your own mind and illumine facts for you. The powers of the mind are like rays of light dissipated. Now, your mind is distracted. The rays of your mind, the light is distracted. That's why you cannot know yourself. Everything is outgoing. The powers of the mind are like rays, light dissipated. When they are concentrated, they illumine. They become like laser. Wherever you direct the torch light, the focused light, that will illumine, that will give out the secret. Likewise, the dissipated mind which is running here and there, externalized, when you internalize that, concentrate that and put it anywhere, the secret is out. It gives out the secret. So now, Swami Vivekananda is giving you the secret, how to get this knowledge. This is the only means of knowledge. When your mind is concentrated, they illumine, they give out the knowledge. This is our only means of knowledge, no other way. Everyone is using it, both in the external and the internal world. But for the psychologist, the same minute observation has to be directed to the internal world, which the scientific man directs to the external world. And this requires a great deal of practice and patience. From our childhood upwards, we have been taught only to pay attention to things external, but never to things internal. Hence, most of us have nearly lost the faculty of observing the internal mechanism. to turn the mind, as it were, inside. Stop your mind from going outside. Turn it inside. Stop it from going outside. And then to concentrate all its powers and throw them upon the mind itself, in order that it may know its own nature, analyze itself. Is very hard work, yet that is the only way to anything which will be a scientific approach to the subject. See, so many other methods may be there. You should have faith in that. But here, you need not have anything. It is pure science. Do this, add this, you get this. That is Raj Yoga. That's why it is called highway. No other faith. It's so scientific. Now, you may ask the question, because we are all utilitarians. We do things only when it is useful to us. So we want something from everything. You ask a child, you have to study, well, tells, do I get gingerbread? Do I get chocolate? Because the whole life of the baby is in chocolates. It wants some reward. Likewise, we are elderly babies, that's all. Everybody, when you tell do something, you'll tell, what do I get from that? So we are all utilitarians. Now, what is the use of this knowledge? Swami Vivekananda asks us, in the first place, knowledge itself is the highest reward of knowledge. Day before yesterday, when I was talking in the Children's Cultural Festival, that was on Sunday, in northern KZN. So I was speaking to the children. At that time, I narrated one beautiful story. What is that story? It's not a story. It is a real thing which happened in 1967, 63, in that time, when Mr. Custer was the editor of the Chicago Tribunal in USA. In the children's column, he used to write the editorials. So he used to get a lot of questions from the children. All the question of the children were, why is it God partial? He only rewards the bad and he doesn't give anything to the good. And the child wrote a letter telling that I always help my mother to prepare cookies and all the other things, do the hard work. My mother only gives me some flattering words. But the cookies are given to my brother, who is mischievous, who doesn't do any work. So the child, naturally, in a childish way, it is asking the question, writing to the editor, Mr. Custer, why is it the world, whether it's school or God, is only rewarding the bad, but not the good? Is it not the question of everybody? All of us are asking this. Now, he couldn't answer this. See, you can't simply give something bluffing answer to the children. The children are too very truthful. Now he was thinking and thinking. He was feeling very sad. He couldn't get an answer. Once he had been to the wedding. And there in the wedding, while he was immersed in this thought, he saw when that wedding was happening, it was the time for the bride and the groom to exchange rings. So the priest is officiating them, asking to exchange the rings. Maybe in the exuberance of joy or that happiness of the marriage ceremony, they did the mistake, they forgot, and they exchange the rings to their right hand instead of the left hand. You have to put the rings into the left hand, isn't it? Now they put it to the right hand, both of them. Then the priest saw it. Now he can't scold them, or that is the day of the marriage. He can't scold them or tell them, what is this? Don't you know how to exchange the rings? He didn't tell, but very nicely he made a statement that they should not be hurt. This person, now he was all ears. He was noticing. Now how will the priest manage? He told, your right hand is already decorated. Why to the right hand? You do the decoration to the left hand, which is not so decorated. Then he got the idea. Yes. So, making us good, we are good. That itself is the reward that God has given to us. Suppose we were bad, what worst thing would have happened to us? So, to be good itself, having this good nature itself, is the reward given by God to us. Then what more you want reward from God? The highest has been given to you. Now, when Revered Ranganathanandaji Maharaj, who had just passed his metric or so, then he joined the Ramakrishna order, but he became such a knowledgeable person. He read and read the books. He never had any degree in the universities, but he became such a man of wisdom. He did the world tour for 21 times. He was the president of our order, the 13th president of our order. Revered Ranganathanandaji Maharaj was called second Vivekananda. So his knowledge was so immense. One of the university, maybe Harvard in USA, wanted to give him, confirm him, doctorate. Can you imagine? Then he refused it. He refused the doctorate. Why? My Guru has given me a title which is more bigger than the doctorate, and all the rewards, all the master degrees come within that. They asked, what is that? Swami. The title Swami eats up all your doctorates and everything. That is enough. The realization of God, that is the highest title. I'm not going to get it. I don't want your doctorate. So being good, being a good person is the highest reward God has given you. Suppose you were a criminal, you were a drug addict, you were an alcoholic, you were a murderer. What would be your condition? Isn't that the greatest reward God has given you? Being a good person, having a good personality. So that's what here we have to learn. See, what is the use of the knowledge? That knowledge of God, that you are the Atman. See, you are sitting here and hearing the words of Lord Krishna. Isn't that the greatest reward you are getting? You are protected from so many doubtful thoughts, so much of misery. You are getting such wonderful knowledge which will protect you always. Isn't it the reward given by God to you? So what is the use of such knowledge? In the first place, knowledge itself is the highest reward of knowledge. And secondly, there is also utility in it. It will take away all your miseries. When you get that knowledge, even a small knowledge you get when you are solving some problems in physics or mathematics, and if you get the answer, that is knowledge, you feel so much of joy, isn't it? You get so much of joy when you get the answer. Then what about this highest joy, highest knowledge you are going to get? What would be the amount of joy you are going to get? So that's why, what is the use? Yes, it has also utility. The highest reward is knowledge. Secondly, there is also utility in it. It will take away all your misery. And by analyzing your own mind, one comes face to face, as it were, with something which is never destroyed. Anashinaha aprameyasya. You will come to, when you concentrate on your own mind, analyze your mind, focus it, then you will come face to face with the truth which is indestructible. That is what Lord Krishna is telling now. Vivekananda is telling in the modern English language, that's all. What a wonderful this thing. See, just to hear that you get so much of joy. When by analyzing your own mind, you come face to face, as it were, with something which is never destroyed, something which is by its own nature eternally pure and perfect, then you will be no more miserable. You will be no more miserable. You will be no more unhappy. All misery comes from fear, from unsatisfied desire. Man will find now that he never dies. And then he will have no more fear of death. When he knows that he is perfect, he will have no more vain desires. And both these causes being absent, there will be no more misery. There will be perfect bliss even while in this body. You will have perfect bliss, no miseries even while in this body, because you have lost the fear of death. Why are you afraid? Everyone is afraid of death. You have now lost the fear of death. See, just to think of it, just an intellectual knowledge is giving so much of satisfaction, so much of joy. Then if you realize that if you become one with that, what would be the immense joy, infinite joy? I'll just give you one example given by Ramakrishna Paramahamsa himself. then you will feel that joy. See, many people used to tell about Lord Krishna when he was in Vrindavan, the gopis, the Radha, they were all married women. They used to come to Krishna and the dance and other things. They were loving Krishna. So they were giving an impure thought to the love of them. And they do not know because they have not studied the scriptures. They don't study properly. They get the thing from the WhatsApp messages or some university, WhatsApp university, or some the people who give some half-baked knowledge, and they will come to conclusion. Now, when somebody asked, was that not impure for all these married women, gopis in Vrindavan to have that love towards Krishna? First of all, we should know, we should study ourselves, then we will come to know. At that time, Krishna was a small lad of 8, 9, 10 years. When he left Vrindavan, he was only 10 years old. Can they have any bad idea or the bodily thought or the sexual idea? No, not at all. That was the pure thought on the Lord. Then Ramakrishna, when he was asked the question, he tells, when the gopis used to come and have the vision of Lord Krishna, that baby Krishna or any form of Krishna, just when he stands in front of them, what would be the joy they used to get by seeing Lord Krishna in that form was, Ramakrishna gives comparison. Say anything, you have to have a simile. You cannot just tell, you ask a baby, how big was the pumpkin? It can tell, this big, that's all. More than that, it can't. So only with comparison, you can give that knowledge. So Ramakrishna gives, what you people think in this world is the highest joy? You think the corporeal or the bodily joy of copulation or whatever you think, that is the highest joy, the sexual joy you think on this earth. You think, you imagine, apparently. So if that is taken as one unit, let us take that is as one unit, then when they used to have the vision of Lord Krishna, they used to get so much of joy. If this one unit is multiplied by the number of hair follicles on your body, what would be the joy? If you tell infinity, you can't understand. Infinite amount of joy. So now the comparison given by Ramakrishna is when just to see the Lord Krishna, they used to get so much of joy. Then what will be the, the sexual joy and other things? It is just like Swami Vivekananda gives another example. Suppose you have nectar, amrita, ambrosia in one cup, and there is sewage water in another cup. What will you choose? Will you choose sewage water to drink? Will you choose gutter water to drink when you have ambrosia? Likewise, you have this within you. That's what. Who will aspire for that? That's why the comparison is beautifully given. You can see how much of joy you are going to get out of this. That's what Swami Vivekananda is telling. And by that, we should overcome that fear of death by another beautiful statement of Swami Vivekananda. And he sums up all these Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Let us hear that wonderful words of Vivekananda. All through now I explained through Vivekananda's words. It gives us so much of strength. Now, about this verse, Swami Vivekananda explains, Antavanta ime deha nityasokta sharirinaha anashino aprameyasya tasmat yudhyasva bharata. Vivekananda tells, these bodies of the eternal embodied one, which is indestructible and indeterminable, have an end. It is said, therefore, fight, O Arjuna. Now, Vivekananda explains, as in this life, a man begins with childhood and passes through youth and old age, so at death he merely passes into another body, another kind of body. Why should a wise man be sorry for that? Why should you fear? It is just like changing your worn out cloth, that's all. And where is the beginning of this emotionalism that Arjuna has got hold of now? We are also emotional and become attached to people and things, and you cry because you identify with the senses. It is in the senses. It is the touch of the senses that brings all this quality of existence heat, cold, pleasure and pain, they come and go. They are temporary. Man is miserable this moment, happy the next. As such, he cannot experience the nature of the soul who he really is. Knowing this, knowing your soul, knowing your Atman, stand up and fight, says Swami Vivekananda. See what wonderful words, what Krishna has given there in Sanskrit, Swami Vivekananda is giving in the modern world. Knowing this truth, stand up and fight, not one step back. That is the idea. Fight it out. Whatever comes, let the stars move from the spear. Let the whole world stand against you. Death means only a change of garment. Do not be afraid. What of it? Thus fight. You gain nothing by becoming cowards. Take a step backwards. You do not avoid any misfortune. You have cried all your life. Has misery? Everyone will come to your help when you are crying only when you have succeeded. So what is the use? Die game. This bending the knees to superstitions, to weaknesses, to fear, the selling of yourself to your own mind does not befit you. My soul, you are infinite, deathless, birthless, because you are infinite spirit. It does not befit you to be a slave. Arise, awake, stand up and fight. Die if you must. There is none to help you. You are all the world. Who can help you? You alone can help yourself. So what wonderful statement of Swami Vivekananda here. The same Bhagavad Gita word which Lord Krishna told there, Swami Vivekananda has given that in an inspiring way through the modern language. That's all. I think with these wonderful statement of Swami, if you go to some other things, that joy which you have got now out of the words of Vivekananda may come down, may be diluted. So with that wonderful thought, we will continue all this week and meet again next week to get that wonderful knowledge of our Atman, our true self, our real nature from Lord Krishna. Now, we will end our conversation with these wonderful thoughts. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande paramanandamadhavam. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.